In 2022, I saw Rage Against the Machine live. And now it looks like we'll never see them live ever again. Maybe. Hey, everybody, it's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the Rot Squad channel. Well, it looks like it's all over for Rage Against the Machine again, as drummer Brad Wilk dropped a bomb on Instagram yesterday with a message to the fans that the band will never play live or tour ever again. In the Instagram post, he acknowledges that fans have been patiently waiting for Rage Against the Machine to announce new dates for their tour, which got postponed multiple times, but said that he can't string fans along any further and that the band will not be touring or playing live again. This comes as a surprise because it felt like we had Rage Against the Machine back as a band, but it has been a rough few years, even after they announced the second reunion in 2019, which was already postponed due to the pandemic in 2020. The band was finally ready to hit the road in 2022, and exactly one show into the North American leg of the tour, frontman Zach De La Rocha ruptured his Achilles tendon, but completed the next 18 dates on the tour sitting down for the entire show. But I gotta say, when I saw them in 2022, even though the guy was sitting down, you wouldn't be able to tell. The guy was just spitting hot fire. The band ended up having to postpone the rest of the dates on the reunion tour due to Zach's injury, with a promise that they would be rescheduling the rest of the tour, but now it looks like that's not going to happen. This is, however, not the first time that Rage have broken up. They broke up for the first time in 2000 due to the departure of Zach De La Rocha. Then they reunited in 2007 and 2008 for a show at Coachella and a world tour, but then things fizzled out again, and the band went back to doing their own individual projects before finally agreeing to reunite in 2019. So it got me thinking, what are the reasons for Rage Against the Machine finally calling it quits for good this time? And my first thought is maybe the band just don't enjoy playing together all that much anymore. They did 3 studio albums back in the 90s. They did the cover album Renegades in 2000, and then they broke up. They haven't released any new studio music since then. They've gotten back for these tours, but then they break up each time. So I'm thinking maybe they get together, they think it's going to be a good idea, and after they do a couple of dates, they just decide that they don't know how to play together anymore, and they'd rather just do their own thing. And that's the thing. Even though when these guys get together, it sounds absolutely amazing. Like, it really is a transcendent experience to see Rage Against the Machine live. Maybe they just don't enjoy playing together as much anymore. Like I've said, they've gone and done individual projects. Zach De La Rocha obviously very interested in political activism, and maybe Rage Against the Machine just doesn't scratch that itch for him anymore. Same for the other guys, for Tom Morello and Brad Wilk and Tim Comerford. Maybe it just doesn't provide them the musical outlet that they think that they need to have. And we as fans, we think, okay, this is the ultimate experience to see Rage Against the Machine together. But maybe for them, it's not as artistically fulfilling. There was also the very awkward Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction for Rage Against the Machine at the tail end of 2023. None of the band members, except for Tom Morello, showed up for the induction. And I know a lot of fans were giving the band flack for being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because it's very pro-establishment. It seems like, even though it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it shouldn't be establishment, but it feels like the band was kind of selling out a little bit. I don't really agree with that sentiment. I don't really agree with anything selling out, but I guess the other 3 members of Rage Against the Machine not showing up for that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, and then Tom Morello just doing it on his own, maybe that created a little bit more of a divide in the band. But the thing about this announcement from Brad Wilk of Rage Against the Machine about the band never playing live or touring again, it doesn't quite add up, because in it he says that they've had conversations about continuing, but he doesn't think that it's going to happen. And then the band has already broken up a few times in the past and gotten back together. I don't think it's going to be happening in the near future, but I can't see Rage Against the Machine going for the rest of the time without reuniting again, because you know what? They are absolutely fantastic live, and I'm so glad that I got to see them. That's right. Back in summer 2022, Rage Against the Machine came here to my hometown of Hamilton, Ontario, played a show at the First Ontario Centre, and it's one of the most incredible, transcendent rock shows that I've ever seen. They were absolutely incredible. Even though Zach De La Rocha was sitting down the entire time, you wouldn't be able to tell with the energy and the passion and the pure fire that was coming out of his voice. It was absolutely incredible. So I don't want to rub it in, but I feel very fortunate that I got to see the band live in my hometown of all places a couple summers ago. So I want to show you guys some footage of this video of the Rage Against the Machine show, because it was absolutely incredible, and I thought, why not? So here you go. Now testify! it was an absolute privilege to see Rage Against the Machine live. And now that I know that they're not going to be playing live again, at least for the foreseeable future, it feels even more special. But it feels like a loss in general for the music industry, a loss in general for rock music, because Rage Against the Machine, even for all their accusations of selling out and maybe being hypocritical and maybe a little bit too political, even though, come on, it's Rage Against the Machine. That's what we expect from the band. But there's been a little bit of flack towards the band. It just feels like we need them. You know, we need a political band, a band that speaks the truth like Rage Against the Machine. So it's a little bit disappointing to hear that they're not going to be playing live anymore. But who knows? They're going to get back together, maybe just not in the foreseeable future.